Welcome to the David Bradley Show with your host, David Bradley.
What up? What up? How are y'all doing today? So, I got this little idea, and I'm going to tell you where I got it from. I went down and I helped Chris Turner. He was doing the show, and we got there early. The sound people hadn't got there yet, and the manager come up and handed me a tablet. I'm old school. I'm looking around for a board. I'm looking around for anything. He hands me a tablet. I played with it. I got it on at least, and got some sound out of the system. I don't like it, but the sound girl showed up, and I handed her the tablet, and we kind of laughed, and within less than 3 minutes, she had everything up running properly. Thank God I didn't screw nothing up. But so I wanted to get her on the show, and we're going to have a little conversation about sound, past and present. And this could be fun. Hi, Caitlin.
Hello.
This might be fun. I don't know.
I think it's going to be great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. I love doing different things, and just the whole sound thing is one of the biggest things that a lot of people don't really. I don't think they care to know about it. Just as long as they get to the club and it's bumping, they just want to hear it.
Yeah, depends.
It depends.
It always depends. Some people are divas, but
Oh, there's a lot of them.
oh yeah.
I love all them. They're good people. Kind of makes you want to punch a couple of them. But,
yeah. Get those every once in a while.
every now and then.
Every now and then. Thankfully. Most people are.
Well, that's what I got to laughing about, because you told me you had this T-shirt that you should have wore.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
Yes. I almost wore that today, but I didn't think it was very appropriate.
Oh, no. Hey, you would have been fine.
Says the sound tech does not need advice.
And see, that's where I screw up, because there's a lot of times I'll go into a venue being from sound, and I just got to go up there and talk to them. I just got to go up there and say something. I mean, but I've cut it back. I really have. But when I see somebody that's looks like they're fresh out of SAE or whatever, and I'm just like,
The green ones.
dude, why are you here? What are you doing? And it's always feedback. That is my pet peeve.
Yeah, feedback unfortunately happens no matter what. I mean, I still deal with feedback, but it's how quick you are of fixing it.
What's your number one cause of feedback? Because you're doing all the clubs downtown.
It's wedges. If you don't ring out the wedges, or if someone's microphone placement's not correct,
Yeah.
or if you're gain staging wrong.
See what I always did, and people laugh at me. Us old codgers. First thing we would do is, and I got to say this before I say that. Back in the day, everything was analog.
Yes, you told me that when we met. You're like, I don't know what the hell this is.
No, I ain't got a freaking clue. But it was all analog. We had our racks, reverb, distortion. It was all through a rack, everything. And we always had an EQ. I love a good EQ. Y'all ain't got that no more.
We do.
Yeah, it's on the
iPad.
See, that's where we was talking.
It's not the outboard EQ. I do like those though.
I love the outboard EQ, because you can reach right over and go straight to the 10K and start pulling it down. And that usually gets rid of a lot of feedback.
Oh, for sure.
And a lot of people don't know that.
Always feeds back between 800, 2K, 5K.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it drives me nuts. But that was always my biggest pet peeve. And whenever I went into a club and I was sound checking somebody, that's the first thing I do. I was reach up there and I'd pull the 10 down.
That's good.
Wouldn't have to worry about it.
Right.
But y'all's new thing, I mean, Jesus.
Oh, yeah. And we have it to where we can see the spikes. So we're not even listening. We can just see it happen and we pull it down. I know.
See, I got out of everything in 2008.
Right.
All this digital stuff come in. When did it start coming in? 2010?
I'm not sure.
You're supposed to know all this.
I know. Got to go back to school, I guess.
Nah.
No, I'm good on that. 4 years, I was done.
So I never went to school.
You don't have to for it. My parents needed me to have a degree, so I was like, okay, well, I don't need a degree for this, but I guess I'll go 4 years and get a degree.
Yeah. And have the after party and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and then the $150,000 in debt.
Yeah, no. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. But no, I started out doing sound, and it was weird because I was helping out a band and I was doing the lights and the sound. And the first gig they ever did that I was there was at Sal's Rock Club. And we walk in, and Sal's back then had like top of the line lighting, top of the line sound, everything. And they had a club sound guy. And I told him, I said, I don't know a whole lot about this stuff. And he's like, well, I'm going to show you real quick. And he showed me. You know, he was just happy to show me.
Yeah.
And we started doing the show, and I was running the lights and everything, which I knew the light board. That's what I've been playing with, you know. And I helped him out maybe 3 or 4 more times. And he taught me so much in just those 3 or 4 times that I just figured everything out. You know, with analog, it's not rocket science.
No, analog's super easy.
And then that stuff on that iPad that you showed me, I was just like, no freaking way.
Yeah, well, Soundcraft is different too. I don't know. I don't like it. No.
Well, see, Chris has got, I don't know what he's got, the name brand, but I know he's got, and this was what he was telling me. Back in the day when you did a gig, you had board, you had snake, you had your amps, you had all this stuff. Now, from what he was showing me, he's got powered speakers.
Yep.
He's got a tablet.
Yep. And then a rack, just for the Wi-Fi and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it sets on stage.
Yeah, there's no board. So if the Wi-Fi goes out, you're screwed. You can't even go back to the board. You just have to wait for it to kick back on.
What if you're playing in a daggum field somewhere?
Oh, you need a board. You need the board for backup.
Because we did, now I did a thing with Dustin Spears. He was helping out. He did a little benefit for Westmoreland Middle School. Little benefit, get money, raise some money up for the kids and everything. And the guy that was there, Brian, he brung his own sound, and he had a digital board. And the very back is where he put it. And then off of that, to the powered speakers and the powered sub. And then he had a tablet.
Yep.
And I thought that was weird, because what you showed me down there was just on the tablet.
Yeah, that's how, there's no board.
And when Chris was telling me there was no board, it's just on the tablet.
Yeah, it'll randomly turn off and it shuts off everything. Or the latency's so bad and there'll be feedback and it's like, I gotta wait for it to catch up. I can't go to a board to fix it.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it's not great.
No, but
I prefer having a board for backup with the iPad to go.
See, I
listen.
don't like all that stuff. I'd rather just have the board. Have you ever run an analog board?
Yes,
Which one?
a lot of Yamahas.
I love Yamaha stuff. It's good and durable. I like
Yeah.
the durability of it.
Right.
I mean, you could drive a nail in with a Yamaha board and then turn it on and run sound all night.
Yeah.
It's wild. Kind of like the SM7B, you can do that
Right.
too.
Yeah. I just like the freedom of having the iPad just to get away from the console and walk around, listen to the sound instead of being at the board, running out, running back to the board to fix stuff.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that part. I can see that part.
So it does come in handy.
Yeah. Nah.
But if you're just using the iPad, then and you don't have a board for backup, you're going to have problems.
Yeah, but see, I don't like how it with the pad, like what you showed me down there. You got the EQ and you got all that other stuff, but you're sitting there hitting buttons and doing this and waiting on it to pop up on the screen and do this and do that. With the board, the only thing I got to do is twist the knob.
Yep.
That's all I got to do.
Yep. Yeah, iPad, it's more steps.
If I want to add an effect, I just hit what channel I got it. That's all I had to do.
Yeah. For an iPad, you have to go to that aux and then select what channel and then raise it up a little bit. Then you have to EQ it separately too.
See, I don't like that. There's too many steps.
There's a lot of steps.
Well, it's like I was telling you, I believe in simplicity.
Right.
I can't even say that word right. Simplicity. Is that right?
That's right.
That's right. Okay.
I can't talk either. Don't worry.
Well, I mean, it's my damn show. I should be able to talk, you know. But, yeah, I like simple stuff, you know, and that's what I always did when I was doing it. I like simple stuff. I want to be able to just show up, plug up, go. You know, sound check to me was maybe 5 minutes on the drums, because I'm a stickler for that drum sound.
Right.
I love the drum sound.
Yeah, a lot of places have electric drum kits now. It's easy to EQ. Everything's already done.
Well, I mean, I did a show one time and I thought it was weird, but this guy, he had all of his mics were already on his drum kit. Only thing he did when he set his kit up, he plugged the mics in and he had his own board.
For his ears?
No, for his whole kit.
Oh.
And then he ran a line out, plugged into the snake, and it come into me, and I only have one channel just for the drums. I couldn't adjust them. I couldn't do nothing.
I've ran quite a few bands like that where they already have their scene that they like for their wedges, everything. It was pretty much like running a DJ, gave them a left and right and
Yeah.
let it ride.
Yeah, that's all he needed, you know. But my problem with that was, and I don't know if you run into this or not, but depending on the size of the room, that could be a bad mix.
Yeah. I definitely like having control. If I don't have control and I can't fix anything, I have to tell them what to fix on their end.
Yeah, and I don't like that.
I have that for karaoke people.
Oh, God. I've never done a karaoke band. Never.
Yeah, I set up, tell them what they need to fix. I EQ it a little bit, compress the hell out of it, and then I get the hell out.
I'm not big on compression. I like a natural sound.
That's fair. If you're gain staging right, you don't have to compress.
Well, that's true. But this shit's compressed.
Well, yeah, I bet.
Because I have an echo in here, which I need to fix.
It's not that bad. I can barely hear it.
Yeah, I hear it every now and then. It gets on my nerves sometimes. So 4 years. What school did you go to?
I went to Belmont.
That's right. We talked about that.
I was at Belmont for 4 years, but I went to a school in New York for a year. So I guess technically a 5-year degree.
Not too bad.
No, my brother was a 7-year just for general studies. So I guess I did something right.
What the hell is general studies?
I don't even know. He works for an insurance company now.
And it has nothing to do with his degree.
I'm not sure. I really don't know.
Well, it was general studies. I mean,
Yeah, I guess it's like your basic math and stuff. I honestly have no idea. No one really knew. He switched it at least 4 times.
man. I never went to college. I should have. I should have went to a bunch of stuff, but I didn't. I don't know. It's crazy. So anyway, that's what I was trying to figure out is you did 4 to 5 years. And then what was your first gig?
So
did you have anybody you interned under?
I did.
We don't have to mention them.
He was great.
Okay.
He has his own home studio and everything.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, so I moved to Nashville in 2016. And within 2 months, I was hired for Belmont's Chapel to run sound.
Awesome.
I've only been experienced in studio at that time. And I dabbled in like DJing and making my own beats, I guess.
Yeah. And what people don't understand, if y'all listening, some of the best equipment is in them chapels.
Oh, it was great. It was natural acoustics. I didn't have to add effects or anything.
Yeah, I love the acoustics in the church.
I stayed with them for pretty much my entire time that I was at Belmont.
Awesome. How many rigs did they have?
How many rigs? I don't remember. It's grown now.
Or did they? I know they didn't do any in-ear rigs.
No,
I'm sure they did
wedges.
wireless mic rigs. And then y'all did video too, didn't you?
They did. And when that wasn't working, they would immediately come running for me. But it was me and then a video guy. And then sometimes if he wasn't available, I had to do both. That was stressful. I had to like set up everything. I had my laptop here, had my iPad on a stool in front of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was using an Allen Heath console, but iPad mainly. I just had to turn on the board.
You know, I'm in between on Allen and Heath.
Some sound great. Others are like their first. Well, I don't know if it's their first, but it's like analog style, but it's also digital.
Yeah.
I forgot which one it was, but those are finicky.
Yeah. Because I think I've used 2 of them. And I just didn't like the sound that I was getting out of them. It was just, on one, I remember it was way too fuzzy sounding.
Yes.
And I was just like, dude.
Is it like an analog style one where it's like really small and compact?
Well, I think it was like a 16 channel. If memory serves me right, because this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it was right when the Firewire and all that other stuff was coming out in the boards. So I guess it was right in that era between, full analog and digital.
Yeah. So that's probably where this board was. And when you were going to the different auxes, if you didn't go back to the left and right, like you had to press that button, you would still be on the aux. You would never be back on front of house.
Yeah.
So
it was
a lot
weird.
of steps. Yeah.
And I wasn't impressed, but the Yamaha boards have always been good. And there was another one that I used.
X32. That's the standard Behringer.
Yeah. No, I've used Behringer. I love the effects on Behringers.
Me too. Because you have the whole library.
Yeah,
It's not just
simple. I mean, you just go over there and, you can assign it and click on what you want and just a little knob turn and you're right there.
Yeah. I mean, I EQ my reverbs, but I know.
You EQ the reverb.
Yeah, because sometimes the reverb is what's making everything feed back.
Yeah, but if you go through a standalone.
That's fair. I know. We make things way too complicated nowadays.
Say, I don't know if we could do it, but I would love to be able to build a rig and have analog qualities, but also digital qualities where we could mesh both of them together.
Right. So like the boards,
Yeah.
analog, but you can have the iPad connection.
Yeah. Just have all that. And then, but I don't want the effects. I want a rack.
Yeah. Oh, the outboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I love the outboard racks. You can reach over, push a button, dial it in how you want it.
Don't have to EQ it.
Don't have to EQ it. Hit a button and it's there. I did a show. The club's turned down now. Tore down. Out of business. And it was down below where the tin roof is.
Which tin roof?
Oh, God, yeah, you're right. There's two of them now.
And they're all over.
It's over by Music Road.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of the street.
Demumbrian?
Yeah, that's it. But there was a small club down below it. And I had an intern. And we were over there. It was her first night. And we were over there, and they had this guy come in. And, you know, we did sound check with him. About 5-6 minutes total, full band. And she's like, this isn't how we done it in school, you know? And I'm like, this is why you're interning.
Yeah, that's the problem with people coming straight out of school into it is they try to take everything they learned.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the same.
No, it's not.
I knew that going into it since I've already been doing it.
Yeah.
I was doing it at school, but still.
Oh, yeah, it'd drive you nuts.
Yeah.
But it was an analog board. It was, God, I can't remember the name of the board.
There's so many.
There is really. There seriously is so many boards. Middle of the road board.
Okay.
And he only had three racks. One rack, 3 units in the rack. And he had a echo, he had a reverb, and an EQ. Again with the EQ.
Yep.
And this guy broke out. I didn't know his song list. I didn't know nothing, you know. And this guy broke out in a song, and I knew it the minute I heard the first chords of it. It was Purple Rain.
Oh, nice.
And she was on my left. And I kind of pushed her over just a little bit because I knew what the guy was doing now, and I knew what the vocals needed to sound like. And I reached over. I cranked it up.
The reverb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you
Or
crank.
delay even.
Well, I mean, I cranked it up. Got that, never meant to cause you any sorrow, you know. Mm-hmm. Got that sound to it. And I hit the echo, and I hit just a little bit on it. And assigned it real quick. So when he first started singing the song, he was like, holy crap, you know. Because I changed everything about him. And it was just with 2 rack units.
Yeah, they were probably just going to leave it dry, not even.
Well, it just been, you know, just a regular sound coming out.
Yeah.
And that's what most people do. But I knew the song.
Yeah, a lot of people set it and forget it. They don't want to mess with it.
Yeah, and that's what, especially around Nashville, I think if you know the songs that they're fixing to play, you can play with what you've got to help them sound better.
That's what I do. Even with lights, if I have a lighting rig too, if you know the song, then you can play around with the lights of how it should be. And it attracts audience too.
Well, yeah. But that's something that always made me mad about Nashville. These bars will not spring for lights.
No, they're usually like the little DBX ones.
Yeah.
So it's straight into a computer.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a pain in the ass to program, and sometimes they won't even work for you.
Yeah.
And you have to reboot the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not big on them. But see, I did everything analog.
Yep.
You know, I was running light shows with a board, and it was all slider and flash. That was it.
Yeah. I think I've only used a lighting board once, and that was also at Belmont for their like concert hall.
Yeah.
Because that's what you needed was to dim it and add certain spotlights and stuff. That was
Yeah.
it.
Well, down there they probably had. See, there's two different types of lighting that I've used. One of them is what I call concert lighting, and the other one is theater lighting.
Yes.
And it's totally different.
Oh, for sure.
And a lot of people don't know that. But it's man, it's crazy how I used to take, and I'm overseeing sound, but I'm also doing the lighting, and I got 2 boards for the lighting.
Oh, wow.
I got the club board for doing, my different scenes and everything, different colors, all that stuff. And then I got another board because I had a hazer that I carried with me everywhere. I didn't use a fog. I used a hazer. And I also had 4 movers. And I ran those movers by hand.
On a little remote.
No, on the board.
On the board?
On the board. Because
your hazer was connected to the board too?
Hmm?
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Let me make sure I'm telling this right. Their board had its own DMX cable.
Yes.
I had my own DMX cable to my board, and the sound wasn't hooked either way. Because I know a lot of them, they come out with that thing where you could run a feed off the soundboard.
So it automatically changes.
So it would automatically do everything.
Yep.
I didn't have that. I didn't do that. So the hazer, I had a 25 or 26 channel light board that I used over here. And then I took 2 channels for the hazer, 4 channels for the movers. And then I would do the other hand, changing my different colors and doing different scenes. But you ever go to a concert and at the end of a song, everything just goes dark?
Yep.
Except for just like a couple of real dim front.
Yes.
You've seen that? Okay.
Yeah, the blackout scene.
Yeah, and that's what I do.
Yep.
That's what I did on all my shows. And people either loved it or they fell off the stage. I didn't care.
Oh, no. Sorry, guys. Figure it out.
Yeah, it was always fun. You're either nervous as hell or just not
My
talking.
ADHD.
Is it driving you nuts?
My ADHD.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, it's hard for me to sit still.
Do we need to attach a camera to you and just let you walk around?
Let me pace around holding the microphone. Might come in handy.
I hated it. See, that's where the pad comes in good for you because you can get up and walk around and do all kinds of stuff. I was attached to the board.
Yeah.
I was just right there. Couldn't move, couldn't go nowhere.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, I cannot be in one place for long. I have to move around.
Lord. You in the wrong business.
No, not nowadays.
Not nowadays,
I'm
you're
great.
not.
I can go pace around. That's why I like the hotel gigs that I've been doing. Because I have one stage over here, I have another stage way down there, and I'm just walking back and forth.
Well, that's what blew me away when you come up there and was got the pad, because it was weird because on that same tablet we were on the 2nd floor.
Yes, and it was connecting to the 1st floor.
The 1st floor, and I didn't know if it was like, are they running just one and running lines out to either floor, or how did they do that?
I don't even know how they have it set up. Honestly, I just know that one iPad works for both. The other iPad just works for the 1st floor.
That is weird.
It's really weird.
I wonder who set that up.
I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like the mains either, since it's 4 for the mains. It's not just a line array.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2. There's 4, so you have to walk around, and then there's definitely some dropping points.
Yeah.
Around.
That's the only thing I really like nowadays, though, is the line array.
Me too.
I love the line array.
Because it goes everywhere.
Well, you can get, when I was doing it, I had 2 15-inch mains, 4 wedges.
At least you had 4 wedges. Some places you only get 3.
Yeah, I know. And I had 2 18 subs. I could blow windows out of a house.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, some places they need more sub. I don't understand the subs on the ceiling though. Like hanging down from the ceiling. I don't understand that.
To me, that's not where it needs to be.
No, it needs to be on the ground because that's where you really get the feel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of these places don't even know how to build a stage.
No. And some don't really need a stage. They just want one.
Yeah.
All brick
Yeah. No.
or metal.
Yeah.
All high end. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
Keeps me on my toes though.
What I love is you go in and go, that's a nice stage. What you got it filled with? What do you mean filled?
Right.
We didn't fill it.
They just built it and it's
Great.
all, yep.
All nice and echoey.
Oh yeah.
I hate that crap.
Yep.
Oh, Lord. What are you doing?
I'm adjusting.
Adjusting.
Yes.
Hey, that's my high-end earphones now.
I got small ears.
That is so funny for a sound engineer.
To have small ears.
The small ears.
I hear great though.
I can't hear crap.
Well, I mean, my hearing's definitely not what it used to be. I say that I blow my eardrums out for the pure joy of it.
Mm-hmm.
I wear earplugs, not great ones, little foam ones.
I've had those before. But I didn't feel like I could get the quality sound that I needed.
Yeah, I don't keep them in. Like when I'm first starting, I leave them out for a good hour and then I'll put them in. But then I just keep taking them out. Everyone's like, why don't you just leave them in the full time? I can't hear.
No, you can't hear certain decibels.
It's cutting out 31 dB usually.
Well, I mean, that's what's weird about me now. I can't. There are certain decibels I can't hear. Like if somebody's talking to me and their voice is in a certain octave or a certain pitch or something, I'm constantly going, what?
I do that anyways. I have very selective hearing now though, since I'm so used to ignoring bar clientele and then I'm focusing on the band.
Yeah.
So like if there's music playing in the background or something, I'm not paying any attention to anything. I'm like, what? They're like, you're looking right at me. I'm like, I can be looking at you. I'm not listening.
Oh, yeah. I got my own song in my head going. I've done that several times. I always loved it when the drunks would come over.
Oh God. I try so hard to ignore them. That's why I like the sound tech does not need a Vice shirt.
Yeah, I know. I like that.
I mean, but then people will read it and then they want to approach me asking me about sound, or they'll be like, why does it sound like this? Why is it like that? I'm like, I don't have time to explain all this to you.
Especially when you're half drunk.
Yeah. I've definitely gotten into it with several people.
Yeah, we had a guy come over to the production booth down there at Limelight, and he kept trying to get up there. And we ended up having to get security to get him removed because, I mean, he was just like, he was plastered. And he kept trying to get up there. And he kept yelling, I could do it better than you.
Oh, those are my favorite. I'll hand the iPad over too. I'm like, here, then you do it.
No,
and then they're like, no. I didn't mean it like that. I'm like, then leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you sitting here harassing me saying you can do better?
That's why I handed you the iPad. I ain't doing that crap.
Oh yeah, you were like, oh good, you're here. Here you go.
Mm-hmm. I'm done. I couldn't get no sound out of that wedge.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I think you were connected to the first floor, if I remember correctly.
I don't know.
Yeah, because you have to go to the aux. So it was like effects tab and then the aux tab.
Yeah.
And I think you were just on the main screen still trying to figure out that. It's a lot of steps.
It's a lot easier when you just reach up there and push button.
Oh, for sure.
I can't do all that crap.
But they don't even have the board. It's all through iPad. I know. Sometimes for 1 4-hour set, I have to switch the iPad twice since one will lose connection or the latency will be too bad. So I have to go to another one, hope that it works better.
See, to me, I think it would be like buffering problems, all kinds of stuff like that.
It's because they don't want to pay for a booster on the router. They just hope for the best, but if there's so many events going on downtown, you're screwed.
Well, I mean, like if people on their phones,
Oh yeah, I do have a mixing app on my phone that I have to use.
well, yeah, but I'm talking about, people come in and they're using the Wi-Fi at the club or whatever, and wouldn't that impede a lot on?
Yeah, so usually for AV, it'll have a separate network.
Okay.
Sometimes they don't, if they want to be really cheap. And that causes a lot of latency issues.
We could have fun just walking around Nashville and screwing with people's sound.
If you know the passwords. I've definitely had to get on my phone before and fix something. When it wasn't even me running the show, I was just there watching it.
And just got on your phone?
Yeah, I got a text. They're like, hey, can you please tap into your phone and fix this? I'm like, sure. They're going to watch the faders, though. And they did, because they were like looking around to see who was on their phone.
Yeah.
They're like, who's messing with the sound?
That is weird.
Because if you're by the board, or even on the iPad, and someone's like messing with it, you can see the faders move up and down.
Not me. Do what? Ah. I don't like going downtown anymore. My hat's off to her because she goes down there and works. I couldn't do it anymore.
I get paid well. If I didn't get paid well, I wouldn't do it.
I couldn't do it. And for everybody listening, that person in the background is Julie, my assistant that helps me on all this stuff. And you didn't even know we was back on air, did you?
Oh, no. Bye. Sitting here messing with the headphones still. They keep falling off on me.
They're cheapos.
Hey, they work great. They sound amazing.
I put these headphones up against a lot of them in the store, Sam Ash and Guitar Center. I chose these over all of them.
Yeah, I can see why. The
sound was great. And like if somebody's here in the studio and they're playing a guitar or whatever, it sounds fabulous.
That's what we need, simplicity.
Well, I mean, you ain't got to, and this is what a lot of people don't understand. You ain't got to spend a fortune. All these microphones, open box. Just go in and buy it.
Yeah.
Go up to the register and say, hey, got any open box?
Oh, like used?
No.
Oh.
Open box is where somebody bought them, opened the box up, got it out of the box in store or whatever, and they didn't like the way it looked or the feel of it or whatever, and put it back.
I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Well, I'd probably need to do another one. But when I first started the show, I did a podcast on how to podcast with everything that I'd learned. And it was basically just a test show, And I was just like telling everybody, because if you go to YouTube, there's 1,000 freaking videos on there that tells you how to podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And all of them, they never tell you everything.
Well, no, because they don't want to give away all their secrets.
Yeah, well, I told everything. I didn't care.
Then someone's going to rip you off, not give you credit.
I don't care.
Well, there you go then.
I didn't start this to get rich. Everybody else is starting it to get rich. I'm not. If I make some money, that's great. If I don't care. I'm still having fun.
That's all that matters if you're having fun. I definitely picked up some gigs where I was getting next to nothing, but it was still fun and a good experience.
Yeah, and you got to meet people and have some fun,
Networking. All about networking.
Networking is a big thing.
Oh, yeah, it is. I learned that very quickly.
That's one thing I get a lot of invites to downtown Nashville. Don't really want to go.
I mean, yeah, traffic's not great. you never know what event's happening unless you pay attention every single day. So there's road closures everywhere. Parking garages are insane unless you're actually working and you get a validation.
Yeah.
Like $50 for 2 hours, forget about it.
No, I ain't doing that.
And there's no free parking anymore.
No. Well, Julie lives in Nashville. So I just, hey, can you drop me? And I'll text her like 30 minutes before I need to get the hell out of there.
Come get me.
Yeah. We only done that once when I met you. She dropped me off right there in front of the stadium. I went in. I can't even remember the name of the club. Damn it. Oh, well, they didn't need a shout out anyway.
I know. I was like, I don't want to give a. I kind of talked crap a little bit. Don't want to give too much away.
No. But yeah, it was. I mean, I'm okay doing that every now and then, but my days of big crowds and all that stuff, I don't want to be in them.
Yeah, that's what I do for a living. I've been doing it for 2.5 years.
Yeah, well, some of the places you go, you ain't got a production booth, do you?
No, most of them don't have a booth.
That sucks.
I know. The console's just kind of sitting by a stage. And unless you want to sit by the stage, which I never do. So I ruptured my eardrum one time.
Yeah, you can.
An insane drummer just wailing. Even with the earplugs, I still ruptured it. It was awful.
Damn. That's bad.
Yeah, he refuses to own up to it. I'm like, you ruptured my eardrum. He's like, no, I didn't. There were a lot louder drummers. I'm like, no, it was you. I remember the pop and the pain immediately.
Yeah. I mean, it's. He ruptured an eardrum, you know it right then. You know exactly what the hell's going on.
Yeah, and you can't really do anything about it. Just sit in silence, let it heal itself.
Yeah.
But I still had to work, so I just kept an earplug in, like a 31 dB cut, molded one. Mm-hmm. Just kept that in my ear for a week.
I knew when in-ear monitors first came out, I knew a guy that was a sound guy. Hell, I ain't talked to him in 15 years, probably. 10 years, maybe. Yeah, it was 10 years. But the in-ear monitors had first come out. And he would do sound check. And then after that, when the band come on stage to do their show or whatever, he put the in-ear monitors back in.
Yeah.
And he ran sound like that. And I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, in-ear monitors are dangerous, though, because you can blow someone's eardrums out.
Oh, yeah.
Like if someone needs more of something and you're on the wrong channel and you're raising it and they keep asking for more and you're on someone else, like it's dangerous. It's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I prefer doing them since I don't have to deal with the feedback on wedges. I just have to focus on front of house and not deal with wedge sound. I just have to deal with amps and live drums.
And say my biggest problem that I always had was the back line.
Yeah.
Getting those guys to realize you don't have to twist it to 11, okay? You can come down some. Oh, no, I can't hear it. Well, you're not supposed to hear it.
That's what your wedge or in-ears are for.
Exactly. You know, and it was just always, it was a pain in the butt. I can't tell you how many times I would have the owner of the club or somebody come up and go, you're too loud. It's not me.
Yep.
It's not me. This is the guitar channel. You see where it's at? It's all the way down. That's him.
Stage volume.
Yeah, just pounding it out. You know, kind of like your drummer. I mean, y'all don't have to do that crap.
Yeah, some people get really offended when you tell them to chill out a little bit. So then I have to find a manager or whatever. I'm like, hey, can you go tell them? They're not listening.
Yeah. Well, I did a benefit. One of the last shows I did, I went in full production. Lights, sound, front of house. And
What was that?
I have no clue.
It's an alien.
No, she's over there putting her finger over her mouth now. I see.
Oh, she's laughing.
No, she's on her freaking phone playing a game or something.
Your sound's on.
I'm glad we interest you this much.
She's like, audio, I'm tuning out for a while.
Yeah, there you go. But you what? Oh, you can hear and play. Well, that's the beauty of a podcast. That's right. But I did an event, and it was, everybody was dressed for the evening dinner type thing, well-to-do.
No.
And it was one band, and then we had a special guest come in that did a acoustic only, which he sounded awesome. It was great. He even come up to me after, and I'm not going to say who it is, but he came up to me afterwards and shook my hand, and he said, "Man, that's the best I've ever heard me."
Those always feel great.
I love that,
Me too.
But he was an old school guy, He pointed down at the wedge and up or down. I got him where he needed to be, and he was happy as all get out, and played a 5-song set,
Yeah.
And the main band come on, and they're coming up to me and going, "They're too loud. You need to turn it down some. Can you turn it down some?" And I'm like, "Okay, look." Go up there on that stage and you tell everybody up there to turn down.
Yeah, good luck. They might act like they're actually turning down, or they're chilling out for one song, and then the next song it's banging on the drums again, or they'll turn up the amp just a little bit more.
Well, yeah, that's why most people, and I figured this out, that's why most guitarists or bass players will keep a water bottle close to their rig. They can walk back there, pretend they're getting a drink of water,
But really cranking it up.
and twisting that freaking knob. I've watched them do it. I have watched
I
them
need
do
to pay
it.
more attention, sounds like.
Yeah, well,
I can hear it. I can hear the difference. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
hell?
I
I walked away for 5 minutes to go to the bathroom.
yeah, you don't take the pad with you.
Not to the bathroom.
You could just sit in there and make adjustments. And scroll Facebook while you're on there.
That's a little gross and unsanitary. No, thank you. I don't even take my own phone to the bathroom.
Man. That was a funny thought, though.
Oh my God. That's what I imagine people when I see the faders randomly moving. They're in the bathroom messing with it.
Yeah, that'd be funny. I always found that cool, though, watching the faders move by themselves.
Yeah, sometimes it's no one else controlling it. It's just a wiring issue and it's happening. I have a few videos on my phone of that. I'm like, no one's touching anything. This fader is just having its old little party.
Yeah.
Or if it's playing catch up. Like if you're on the iPad doing stuff and then the board's not catching up to it.
Say, I didn't even think about that.
That happens sometimes. It's kind of cool, but
I don't know. I'm still analog, man. I'm still analog. I mean, you sold me on a couple of things. Okay.
you can walk around.
I do like to walk around. I do like getting different areas to make sure your sound is where you want it.
Exactly.
And
Not
especially
running back and forth.
Yeah. And especially if you've got a huge crowd, because crowd changes sound.
Yes, it does.
And a lot of people don't understand that part
No,
either.
they don't. Like bartenders and stuff, they really don't understand. Like there'll be a room of 5 people and it'll be a little louder. I'm like, wait for it to fill up, give it a minute, and it'll start filling up. And they're like, oh, it sounds so much better.
Yeah.
And it didn't change anything.
Yeah.
We just have bodies of alcohol to absorb the sound.
I did a show. Oh God. It was a crazy night. It was New Year's Eve.
Those are fun.
And I was booked at the Limelight. They had a DJ there.
You were running sound for a DJ?
No,
I was about to
running.
say.
I was running. All this was the whole night encompassed. I had one light show going at the Limelight. I had a light show going at a DJ only, which was right next door to where I was doing lights and sound
Running all over the place?
for a full band.
Oh, wow.
But I was smart. I set all the the lights, because it was basically the DJ was just doing dance music all night. That's all it was. So I set everything to sound activated. Didn't have to worry about it.
Right. I mean, that's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
I know some clubs on Broadway, they have their own lighting guy just for DJ sets.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, just figure out what the DJ's playing, create the scene, let it do its thing.
Yeah, but see, I just voice activated was the big thing.
Right, because it's automatically changing.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all got that now still.
They do. They don't use it. I mean, some places do, I'm sure. But
I do. I mean, I'd use shit out of it, but I'd set everything up the way that I wanted it. And I had 3 lasers going and 2 movers. That was in the dance only room. And then down at the Limelight, I had everything voice activated. There's a cat out, isn't there?
there is a cat. I'm petting it.
She likes to be on the show. Is it the black one?
Yes.
Yeah. She likes
Yeah.
getting on the show. My daughter loves it. Hey, my cat's famous. And then
She's helping the ADHD.
mhm,
I have something to fiddle with now.
there you go. And then on the side where I was at, I had the full band going. I was running sound and lights. So, I mean, I had every rig I had going at one night, and I was the only one doing it.
Yeah, I mean, once the DJ set, though, you're good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm used to doing multiple levels, or sometimes venues, like I'll set up at one venue, run down the road to another, get that going.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a DJ, you can actually set that and forget it.
Yeah, they're
Man, you
easy.
need to focus on.
Yeah, they're easy.
Yeah.
And then it was a damn good night. I had a lot of fun with it. And the only one I ever really had to worry about was the other one at the Limelight. But I was 1.5 miles away from there. No way I was going to jog it. It ain't going to happen.
No. I mean, now you can take a scooter.
And no,
Yeah, I don't even get on those. I'm too clumsy.
I'd be in the hospital.
Someone's dropped one right in front of my car and I ran over it. That was fun. I was very pissed.
I can imagine.
I called the company. They wouldn't answer. I sent them an email. I was like, figure out who this person is. I have a nice little word to say with them.
Mm-hmm. That's messed up. Pardon me. Sorry, y'all. I had a yawn. I've been up since 4 a.m. No.
Jesus Christ.
What time did I get up? 6. I got up at 6 this morning.
I woke up at 4:30 but fell back asleep by 7:30. Insomnia.
I wish I could go back to sleep. I have so much stuff going though. That is crazy. So what actually got you into sound?
My favorite question. Okay, so
I figured I'd ask the most corniest one that I can't tell you how many times I've been asked it. And I was just like, I'm going to ask you the corniest freaking question in the world.
well, I have a good answer. So I was in choir majority of my life, like from age 6 to 21,
Singing.
singing.
Okay.
And then in high school, I started, like when dubstep and all that started getting big, I was like, oh, that's cool.
It amazed me. It even got big, but you know,
I still love it. I still love EDM. But I started doing that. And then when school, like stuff about school, my parents like, where do you want to go? I was like, I don't know. I'd want to do music. Like, I don't know if I want to do studio stuff or be a DJ.
yeah.
Like DJ was running through my mind. So went to school in New York that offered studio, but also EDM and music theory, which was interesting. Like a lot of audio schools, they do not provide music theory at all.
Yeah.
So I went to New York. Turned out the EDM professor and I hated each other.
Oh, well, that's always a fun learning experience.
Oh yeah, he bashed on all my work. And then the studio professor, he was like, I want you to learn some things. Meet me tomorrow in the studio. Fell in love with that. And then I was like, I don't need to be at this school. I need to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So he recommended Belmont since he knew a few professors. So I applied, I referenced him, got into Belmont, and then that's when live sound started taking off. because that was my first job. And I was like, I kind of like this.
Yeah.
I like fast pace. And in the studio, you're constantly, if you're picky, like I was,
Yeah.
I would be on a minute of a song, just fixing it, or thinking I was just trying to improve it. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So live sound started taking off.
I had a guy, he told me, and this was when I was young, just got into it, and I was helping him in his studio. And the only reason I knew the guy was because the band I was helping was going to go do their 4-song demo, which is currently being called an EP now.
Yes. Like a demo is a 30-second clip of a song or something.
Yeah.
Not even the full thing.
Yeah, no. But this was a full 4-song demo, and we went in to do it. And I'm sitting there watching and looking at everything. Now, this was in a guy's basement, had a vocal booth built, the full area for the instrumentation, and then there was a production booth.
Yep.
For all the equipment. Recording on reel to reel. And it was beautiful. He had 6 of them in there.
Nice.
Yeah. So, you can sit there and create all damn day long.
Yeah, that's how I interned. It was it was in its garage, but then he added on to it. So it was like the control room.
Yeah.
And then it had 2 ISO booths and then just a big room for bass player and drummer, since bass just went direct.
Yeah. See, I don't like direct.
You want the amps.
I want to hear the buzz. I want to hear everything. That was the Nashville sound. People don't realize this. These guys, when they recorded back then, the full band set up
In one room.
in one room.
Yeah.
And every amp was mic'd. Drums were mic'd. You had the 2 overheads for the cymbals.
I hate overhead. I know.
It's a monster you got to deal with, but there's,
just take out some high end. You're fine.
well, there's ways you could actually take, because when the band come in, you did basically a sound check is what you did. And you could take through the board, that old analog rustic thing, you could go through the board and with your rack and everything else, you could dial them in and you could eliminate some of the bleed over.
Yeah, gating.
But you still had that whole band sound.
Yeah.
That-
That's how Ocean Way set up.
See, and that's where, to me, that's where that Nashville sound came from. And then once you laid all that groundwork and got everything going and they played their song, then you could go to the ISO and do your vocals.
Yeah.
And then it was warmer. I loved it. The one thing I've noticed with being down at Nashbox and seeing what you were doing down there and everything else, it's like y'all want everything isolated. You know what I'm talking about?
Not necessarily.
Each channel.
Yeah, every channel's separate, but that's mainly for like wedges and if they have ears.
Yeah, but on the recording side of it,
Yeah.
they won't line in on every damn thing.
Right.
And I just, that whole, like one channel has got to be only that one sound. You can't hear nothing else in there. There's nothing. And to me, that's too clinical.
Yeah. Sometimes when people record it though, they just want what's coming out of the master. So they want how you're mixing it, which is nice.
Yeah.
But sometimes they'll plug up their laptop and try to separate what they can.
Yeah, see, I don't like that.
I don't have to do it. I just press record on the board and I let them do their thing. I'm like, cool. I'm walking away now. Have fun.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. So the boards now, they actually have a record on them and everything?
Yes. Yep. You can either plug an XLR in or you can just go straight USB into whatever.
We didn't have that.
Yeah.
The first time I messed with a board that had a record button on it is actually this Rode Podcaster.
X32 have a record.
See, I didn't know that. Because I was thinking about getting rid of the Rode and going with a Yamaha and just doing a 16 channel. Because if I have, okay, say I got 3 guests, my vocal, what if they bring guitars?
Right. You need more.
The Rode has only got 4 channels.
I know. I was looking at that.
But I do have a cute little card back there in the back. And when I hit record, everything gets recorded on that little card back there in the back.
Yeah.
Then I can put it into the DAW or whatever the hell it's called.
DAW.
Is that what it's called, DAW? I said that right?
Digital audio workstation. Something like that. I know digital, the word digital.
I'm old. That's one reason why I want to talk to you on the show, because I'm old and you're young. You've been through all this stuff. But have you ever recorded on reel-to-reel or ADAT?
Yes, at Belmont. The tape machine and I did not get along.
You didn't like the tape machine?
It just didn't like me. I would record and then I would listen back and it just would cut out. And I was like, what did I do wrong? And then they somehow made me a staff engineer my last year. Don't know how that happened, but when people had questions about tape machine, I was like, it doesn't like me, but we could try.
Yeah. It's a different animal. I
like the sound of it if it's done correctly.
Yeah. I mean, and that's where you get a lot of warmth too, is I think when you went and put everything digital and on a computer and all this software, I think it took a lot out.
Yeah. Because a lot of studios now are just in the box. They don't even really have consoles. They have the little, what is it called? I'm having a brain fart, but they just have like it has a little knob on it. Just so the overall volume, and everything else just going straight into the computer.
See, I don't.
Little Avid controller.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it. To be honest with you, I've seen that and I'm like, what the hell?
It's just controlling volume. That's about it.
See, I thought it was doing something where you could pan back through the track or go forward in the track.
Yeah. There's different Avid ones. Like I've used a whole Avid board, or the, what's it called? SS something, like SS8 or something. It's like, it's a digital board, but it's like the analog feel. I know.
Look,
it was one of my favorite ones. Or Neve. I love the Neve console.
I don't care how many times they push that little button and say, but it's just like, no, it's not. Because
they have all those plugins where they can like record from tape.
Yeah. No. I just, well, I mean, it's just like, now I'm having a brain fart. Auto-tune. I think that is the worst invention ever made.
Yeah, and Live has been using auto-tune, which I don't even want to think about how they set that all up, or what the point of it, or tracks.
Whatever happened to talent?
I know. I've ran a lot of bands where they have tracks, but they want the tracks like louder than their vocal.
Yeah.
Like, but what's the point of me having your vocal? That's what I want. I want to push your vocal, not have the already edited one.
Exactly.
I want to do it.
And what's weird though is there's a lot of people out there that don't even know how to run tracks and mix them properly.
It depends what's on the track. Like I prefer listening to it beforehand.
Well, you got to.
But sometimes I don't have a choice. Like if it's a full band showcase, they tell me they have tracks and I just send it through.
Well, how in the hell is it a full band when you've got the tracks?
Because it's a showcase, so they get 3 songs and then you throw it back on. I know. Changeovers like less than 5 minutes. Quickly sound check.
Yeah.
They're fun. My anxiety's out the roof the whole time. They're fun.
Well, I can imagine. That would drive me nuts.
Yeah, and then some drummers, they have their little pad for the tracks, but then they want the pad and then they have click.
Well, I've seen a lot more drummers. Neil Peart was real big on, because if you ever look at any of his kits, he had that pad. But it was just so he could add a different sound into what he was doing.
Yeah.
And I've seen some drummers that are using like a drum pad. And
It's a cat scratching.
that's a... Does anybody want to buy me a studio? But yeah, I mean, it was just like they're drumming, but then they're turning around and they're going on this drum pad.
It's adding a lot more low end usually.
Yeah. And I was just like, what the heck? Why didn't you just go ahead and go all electronic kit, you know?
Yeah, I work with a lot of drummers that have the pad. So they'll be doing their thing and then they just hit it and it's just like boom, boom. Like just for that extra.
I don't get that.
I know.
I didn't, you know, but it, and everybody's got to keep in mind, I'm not knocking anything. I'm just like an old man trying to understand new technology and all this stuff and just figuring out where I can take and make it applicable.
Understand it.
Maybe.
Everything on an analog board, you can do it digitally. You can do it on my phone even.
Yeah, but why does it sound better on the analog board?
Because you're not dealing with latency.
Who wants to know what latency is?
Better word, lag.
There you go. Seriously.
As if you're messing on an iPad and all of a sudden it's not catching up to what you're doing. It's latency issues.
We'll say that's where I've got a problem with the iPad.
Me too. That's why I like having a board. I think when we met, we talked about that.
Yeah,
you're like, what if something goes wrong on the iPad? I was like, I have to reboot it.
You're screwed. But my thing is, okay, this board right here, I can move a slider and I can pinpoint. When you do it on the iPad,
it goes wherever it wants. It's really annoying. Like if I want it at -5, it'll probably be -5.2.
that's what I'm saying. You can't get precise.
No. I mean, some you can type it in, but usually it's, I know.
Okay, I'm in the middle of a show. I'm in the middle of a show. Hang on a minute. Let me type this in. And
well, no, you just like click it and then you can put like the keyboard will pop up and then you put like 5 or 5.0 or whatever.
Oh, God. I don't know.
I mean, that's how I have it for my master. Like when I save my scenes, like if someone else is using my scene, I'll put where I had the master.
That's a door. And a granddaughter.
She's bored.
I stay bored. I don't know why. Maybe it's hereditary. That's where she gets it.
You're bored, so she's bored.
Yeah, well, her mother was bad about it.
Yeah.
Her mother is smart as all get out. Both my kids are smart as all get out. And both of them would get bored in school.
Me too.
I got
test
bored.
taker.
I got bored in school.
Me too. College was a struggle.
I can imagine.
I made it through. That's all that matters.
Well, I mean, you went into an interesting field because that has always kept me interested. on different things, how to make this sound better, how to do this, how to do that, how to create. Because, well, like with the podcast, I studied for 6 months, everything I could learn. And then I started building. And I got screwed up several times. And then I said, you know what? Screw this. Because what they tell you on the podcast shows ain't nowhere near what you need to know.
Yeah, that's how it is in school. Everything you learn in the classroom, it's a completely different world when you're actually doing it.
Yeah. And there's so many things out there. And I tell a lot of people, get into it. Follow your heart. Follow your ears. And just play.
Yeah.
Have some fun.
Right.
See what you can create, you know. That's...
Yeah, don't go by the book.
No.
Get creative.
You've got to. And I did that a lot with live sound, because if I knew what songs were coming, I could give them pretty much the sound that was from the live song, you know, well, from the song that they were performing live. But I had a lot of fun in studios too.
Yeah.
You can get creative as I'll get out in a studio.
Yeah. The only problem is, because I did studio in school and interning, you have that time frame.
If you own the studio.
If you own the studio, you can work on a minute for 12 hours if you want.
Yeah. Just whatever you want to do.
Got to take a break eventually, then come back to it, because then you start nitpicking.
Well, I do. I hit a button and I go pee.
There you go.
But simplistic. I think people need to concentrate more on being simplistic with their sound, with their recording. I think people are overthinking it way too much. And
I mean, that's where you have feedback issues, stuff too. Because you're trying to you think something needs a little boost.
yeah,
When really it needs to be cut out. So then they give that boost, and then 8K straight out the mains, and you have the crowd going, oh.
I always loved that.
I hate that. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm trying.
The thing I always loved, an acoustic set, and they don't even look at you, and they just yank the cord out.
Oh my gosh. I had that recently, and it's someone who should have known better, but he has a guitar tech. He just didn't bring his guitar tech with him for this writers round. So he was trying to do it himself, and he's like, screw this, I'm done. And I didn't even have time to process like what was happening, and he just popped it, and it was so loud. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, you should know better.
Yeah.
Like, you're this big name. What are you doing?
Only thing it takes is just look up at the sound guy.
And ask, be like,
Yeah.
am I good?
Yeah. Am I done? So it'll be good. I love the hand signals going on behind the scenes here.
It's like, are you done yet?
Are you done? Are you done?
I'm bored.
All right. Well, we're going to get you back on
Sounds good.
because we're going to have some more fun, and we're going to think about some stuff.
I'll try to run a little bit beforehand.
A little bit.
Let all some of this energy out.
I don't know. We got booze over there if you want to shot.
Take a little shot.
Take a
calm
little
the
shot.
nerves.
That was actually the one song that Mark Hatt did that I really loved. Just Another Shot.
Just another shot.
Just Another Shot. I believe that's what it was. Wasn't that the name of that song? Just a Shot? No, Just a Shot. Just a Shot. That was the name of the song. Mark Hatt did that song up here. And I was just like, dude, I had to have a shot. It was that compelling.
Wait, Mark who?
Mark Hatt.
I don't know who that is.
MarkHatt. He plays all around Nashville.
I'm terrible with names. You can tell me your name 10 times and I won't remember.
Yeah, the only reason I remember yours is in my phone.
That's helpful. Most people just call me Sound Girl.
Yeah. You should get that shirt.
Bring the shirt next time.
Sound girl.
Oh, sound girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a friend who has a Broadway daddy.
Broadway daddy.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to ask. That's loaded right there. Just all
I
in
know. Or
All right.
sound daddy.
All right. Well, anybody need a good sound person? I'll tell them to holler.
That sounds good. I'm available.
The only thing they got to do is just get in contact with me through the show. I cannot talk.
I mean, we have meowing in the background too.
I know.
Hard to concentrate.
I don't hear it in the headphones though. I did something right.
There you go.
All right, Caitlin, I appreciate it, hon.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem. And we'll get into some more stuff on another show, and
Can't wait.
I'll get more facts and figures and all kinds of stuff. We'll make it clinical.
Make it clinical.
Yeah, make it clinical. Well, we did the bullshit show.
Yes.
So next show we'll do a clinical type
More professional.
with facts and maybe a bar graph or something. And I don't know
where this is going.
who cares? All right, everybody. Like I always say, and I always get on my soapbox, and I tell it like this all the time: like, share, follow, subscribe. It's a very simple thing. It doesn't cost you a penny, and it helps out so many people. And that's part of what this show is. It's about helping people out and getting the word out and telling everybody, like, share, follow, subscribe. It helps me out. It helps your artist out. It helps out the sound people, the light people, all your production side. You wouldn't believe what all goes in to that one show that you went and drank a beer at and had a little bit of fun. So, like, share, follow, subscribe. And Caitlin, again, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
And we'll see y'all more later. Love you, mean it.
Bye.
Bye.